This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, folks. We welcome you to June 1st meeting of the Bladen County Commissioners. I ask if you would to stand for invocation. Corey McMillan will lead us in that. And we are so honored tonight to have a wonderful delegation from Paul R. Brown, the heart of downtown Elizabethtown. They're with us each month, and we are especially proud of them tonight. They're in large numbers, so we welcome them. They will lead us in the presentation of colors and in the Pledge of Allegiance. Corey.
Dear Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you, Father, for seeing the care in our county. Father, we care about what goes on, Father, and Lord, I pray that you would put that in each heart here tonight, Father, to care one for another, Lord, for all the decisions that are made here, Lord, that we would remember, Father, that each one of us were made in your image. Each of us have a purpose. We all have a value, Father. We all need to be seen and heard, Lord. Thank you for a place where we can do that, Father, where we can come together in love and in trust for one another, Father, to work these things out in the way they should be, Father, that our county might be a place where you're magnified, Father, glorified and honored, and that would be our main concern, our main goal, and our main focus in all of the decisions that are made here tonight, Father. I pray that you would guide the minds of these men and women, Father. I pray that every heart will feel satisfied as they leave this place, that they've been seen and heard and have a part. And Father, that all of us are important, Father, to one another, but most of all, Lord, we're important to you. And Lord, we love you, we honor you, and we praise you to the best of our abilities for all that we have. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
They got right. They do.
Colors, attention, carry colors, forward, arch. Halt, colors, halt, present arms. Sir, permission to present the colors.
Permission granted.
Aye, sir. Carry colors. Colors averse. Arch. Colors out. Present arms.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry colors. Colors averse. Arch. Colors out. Present arms. Sir, permission. Aye, the colors.
Permission granted.
Aye, sir. Carry colors. Aye, heads. Forward, arch.
Amen.
Oh, that's right. They got this one.
He was looking for a parking spot. There weren't any. We're so proud of you guys and gals for being here tonight. You truly are the highlight of our meetings. This is the part that we all look forward to. We glean with pride because of you and your accomplishments, and know you've recently had some tremendous accomplishments.
Gentlemen and ladies, if you will turn around so you can face the audience. Switch the flags around, please. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Dr. Ray, Carlisle Brown Leadership Academy, thank you for having us, County Commissioners. Thank you for having us here tonight. We just wanted to come out and brag on our kids tonight. Every year we go to the National Society of Blackjacks, Persian Rifles, Persian Angels drill competition. It's the oldest drill competition in the United States. We used to compete against the colleges, but they got tired of us beating them, so they changed the rules. True story, look it up. Notre Dame didn't want to lose to Paul R. Brown. University of Kansas didn't want to lose to Paul R. Brown. They changed the rules so that we couldn't compete against them. And we had to adapt and only compete against the high schools. For the last couple of years, we kind of hit a rut. And this year, these kids standing in front of you said, hey, you know, we got to bring that trophy back to Bladen County. We got to bring it back to E-Town. So. Fortunately, he chose to go to East Carolina University. Instead of the finest institution of higher learning in these United States, if not the world, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. But we will give her a pass. But ladies and gentlemen, county commissioners, we want to thank you for taking the time to recognize our kids. Again, when you're the smallest school at a competition and you're competing against schools that bring 2 charter buses, 3 charter buses, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to get 20 people into an 18-passenger van, that says a lot about us. And so let's give them a thank you again for all the support. Thank you. Y'all ready to get it? Then we're gonna get out of your hair. Another one to go tonight.
Proud of you all. Thank you for being here so much. Listen, there's no telling what each of you are going to accomplish in your lives. I want to tell you something. This moment is the moment you're going to think back on when you're our age. And the decisions, the wise decisions that you're making right now are going to affect the rest of your life. Right. And listen, we're not supposed to be proud. It's dangerous to be proud, but right now I hope there's a little bit of godly pride in each of you. Realize the accomplishments. Look at all these people that showed up to see you tonight, to brag on you, to tell you that they believe in you, that you've got a tremendous purpose. Well, I'm glad you're here. Listen, you remember this. Hey, you never could do nothing. You've got a future brighter than you can imagine. Amen? Y'all for being here tonight.
Thank you for having us, folks. Even though she's gonna be a pirate, y'all can clap for her.
Amen. I would request the commissioners with permission tonight that we approve the consent items with 2 changes. And the first is that we need to move college presentation to our next meeting. Dr. Lee is unable to be here tonight because of sickness in her family. And then also that we would swap numbers 4 and 5 so that there's just one change there other than the moving of Dr. Lee's presentation to our next meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the consent items with that adjustment to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
We have two public hearings tonight. The first, a public hearing to receive comments regarding the proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 fee adjustments and proposed operation hours for Bladen Aerial Rural Transportation System, otherwise known as BARTS. Is there anyone here? We declare this public hearing open first. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf of the proposed adjustments to the fee schedule for BARTS? If not, we'll consider that motion handled, and we will close the public hearing, and we'll open our second public hearing. I declare it open, the public hearing to receive comments regarding the proposed fiscal year 2026-2027 economic development appropriations. Are there any comments? Anyone here to speak on economic development appropriations? If not, we'll consider that matter handled as well, and we will close that public hearing. Our third public hearing tonight to receive comments regarding proposed fiscal year budget 2026-2027. I'll declare that public hearing open. Anyone here to speak on the budget? If not, we'll determine that that business is handled, and we will close that public hearing. Next matter of interest for us is our matter of interest of our county commissioners, and I want to just stand and speak to that. I do appreciate you being here. This separates us from nearly every other country on this planet, that you have a voice, and your voice can be heard. Something happened in the last 24 hours that I didn't see coming. I looked around at faces that I know and love and respect deeply. I think maybe up until 24 hours ago, you pretty well respected me. I moved here 26 years ago, and I've made friends that are like family. Most of you know I'm a pastor. Some of the emails I've gotten today refer to that. When I was a little boy, I learned a song that Jesus loves the little children, all the little children of the world, red and yellow, black and white, they're precious in His sight, and I amen that. There's not a racial, racist bone in my body. The last meeting we had, there'd been something on my heart for a long time, and I brought it up. Never thinking about how it might be perceived, never thinking about how it could be spun or whatever. Let me tell you something first about me. I believe in the Beatitudes. Two of those Beatitudes, one says, blessed are the pure in heart. Let me tell you, the recommendation that I asked our commissioners to consider was absolutely as pure in heart as anything could be. Beatitudes also says, blessed are you when men shall revile you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. It is a wonderful thing when there are things said out on the street that are pretty rough to be able to say I'm blessed because they're not true. So here's the deal. Over the years, before I was a commissioner, I would hear from time to time, why do the commissioners have 9? A small county, a county that's decreasing in size. And no. I knew that there had been some discussion through the years. I became a commissioner, and every year about this time of year, we discuss the budget. And we tell people in departments, you need to do more work with less people. If you have an assistant, you need to learn to do your job without an assistant. If there's a position that's not been filled, we're going to eliminate that position to save money. And every year, I would look at us, and I would think, you know, in the state of North Carolina, big old state of North Carolina, 100 counties, there were 4 counties that had 9 commissioners. There were a few counties that had 7 commissioners, but the vast majority of counties had 5 commissioners. So in my naivety and innocence, I thought, well, I believe we can do our jobs with 5 commissioners. 2 things I said when I made that recommendation, just that we consider it, that we send it to our attorney. Number one, I said, if all this requires is 4 of us volunteering to go home, I want you to listen to it. On Sunday mornings, I ask God for wisdom, but what I say, and I've asked him all day to give me wisdom tonight. The first thing I said is, if it requires 4 of the 9 of us to go home, I'll be the first to volunteer and I'll go home if that's what's best for the county. I didn't ask anybody else to go home. I said, I'll go home. The second thing I said, when it was mentioned that this possibly could affect any demographic of our community, I said, if we discover that it is potentially going to hurt, whether it's any part of our constituents, then I'll vote against it. My intent was not to silence anybody. My intent was not to alienate anybody. My thought process was, well, we've got 3 districts. We have 2 commissioners. For me, it's myself and Dr. Ellis here. We're the District 3 commissioners. And I said, well, you know, if I go home, that leaves Dr. Ellis in District 3. District 1, District 2 would reduce possibly if it's legal and and by the way, it couldn't happen unless the citizens voted for it. Okay. So if we have 3 districts and each district has 1 representative and then the at-large goes from 3 to 2, we've got 5 commissioners, and in my understanding, it would probably even out to be about the same racial makeup, the same makeup Republicans versus Democrats. However, over the last 24, 48 hours, it's obvious that there is a tremendous concern from the African American community, okay? And my brother, I love you like a brother. Have I ever demonstrated any racial tone to you in any way, shape, or form? Treated you like a brother? You needed help, I'd get down and ditch with you. Listen, there's people all over this room that know me. That person. I'm not up here trying to pander to y'all. I'm not up here trying to get myself out of the hot seat. No, I'm not. I didn't know I was in the hot seat. I never would tell you to trust a politician. I'm not up here tonight as a politician, and I'm not one. I'm a public servant. I'm a pastor answered to calling God to run for office because I believe that's what God was calling me to do. It breaks my heart to think in 24 hours, the reputation that I've worked 26 years to have is now in jeopardy. Folks, I don't like people to say trust me, but all I can tell you is what I've spent the last 5 minutes telling you is the absolute truth. And with that in mind, I'm going to ask these other 8 commissioners, we drop it. It was never intended to be anything to hurt Mark, certainly not to hurt Arthur, certainly not to hurt Doc. It never crossed my mind. I was the first one that said, I'll go home. I'm going to ask you tonight, basically to forget. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And my daddy would say, avoid the appearance of evil. I want you to hear this, and I prayed about whether to say this or not. This is the truth. I'm so burnt out trying to be a county commissioner. For those that don't realize this ain't fun. The hours these men and women put in, it's not fun, it's not pleasant, it's not easy. And there's part of me, and if I just be real honest and candid with every one of you, I want to go home so bad. I want to go home and pastor my church so bad. And to be honest with you, maybe I'm thinking if we get rid of 4 of them, I get to go home. But do you know why I'm trying to stay? Because I do believe God's led me this place. I'm going to do what God leads me to do the best I can. Half of y'all are going to walk out of here tonight saying, you know, that white one ain't all bad. And then determined by whatever I am. But the people in this room that really know me, that's all that really matters. God knows my heart. I'm your commissioner, whether you're in the district or not, all nine of these people agree. They'll serve you, they'll help you. You might not realize, but these folks are the best friends y'all got in this county. They fight for you. They fight to keep your taxes as low as possible and give you the benefits.
All right, y'all.
See, you can believe it or not, this is true. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to stand in your face, thank everyone who showed up tonight.
Absolutely.
I am so glad that some of you looked at the meeting on the online, you know, YouTube.
Yes,
And you read this, you heard the message from everyone and the recommendation that Ms. McGill, the chairman, made. And I think that that's what caused it.
Yes.
Several of them heard
Yes, ma'am.
your recommendation. You had not discussed it with any of us.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that was unfair. I said that. I thought it was unethical and unfair to the rest of us. And that your presence proves that. Also, I know several of you, Ms. McGill, I think they took the time to come in. There are several of you still have
Absolutely.
like to speak. And if they can't, I'd like them to do that this time.
Oh,
Leave
absolutely.
in their comments.
Oh, absolutely. And you're still in the agenda. We just.
Okay, so what I say, because it does make a difference, and I ask each of you, when it comes into voting, I don't tell you how to vote, but exercise your vote at every chance you get. Not at the local, municipal, at the county level, state, always vote.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have anything tonight? All right, so we do come to a point of public comment, and Ms. Maria, put this here where everybody can see it here.
Mr. Herman Lewis.
Yes, right here.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you all for hearing me this afternoon. I'm glad to hear the message that you gave, brother. Please, I understand where you're coming from. I understand budget. I was town councilman for approximately 24 years. I just lost this election. A word of wisdom, and what I noticed over those 24 years, is that make sure when you're looking at what other people are doing, that you are comparing apples to apples and not apples and oranges, because they may have 5 commissioners. But I've done driver's education all over this county, every pocket of where you could possibly go. And there are communities that need their representation. So when you all think about this in your budget, make sure you remember the pockets that we have. This is a large county. I taught North Carolina history for approximately 20 years before I got into administration. So, and then I went back after I retired and I did driver's education. So I know the whole entire area of Bladen County, every bit of it, because I've driven over. So please be careful. Keep people in mind when you're making these decisions. And put God in it. When you have these difficult decisions, go home at night, lay down on it, okay, and think about what is the best decision for the people that you represent. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I totally agree. Before our last meeting, the point that kind of drove it home that it was time to try to do this, I was in the tax office and I watched the lady come in and she had a $700 tax bill. And she was in tears and she said, "I can't pay it. Is there any way you can help me?" And in that moment, I thought about, you know what? Our salary for a month ain't much, but it'd pay that lady's bill. So sometimes you see something like that and you don't think about the totality. So great point. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hillary Klein.
Thank you for being here.
Good evening, honorable commissioners. My name is Hillary Klein. I'm a senior counsel for voting rights with the Southern Coalition for Social Justice. And I'm here, I was asked to speak, and I'm here in solidarity tonight with the voters of Bladen County who want fair elections and an equal opportunity to elect candidates of their choice to county government. I was going to say a whole bunch. I think after your statements, my comments are going to change a little bit. But I do just want to mention something that you alluded to, which is that the timing of the proposal that was made on May 18th to change how Bladen elects its county commissioners, the timing of that was very concerning to us. It would be highly unusual for the county to make a change without any apparent need at this time. And it really did look like, and I appreciate your comments, sir, but it really did look like some members of the board perhaps wanted to weaponize the recent Supreme Court decision in Louisiana v. Clay to hurt the voters in this county, and specifically to hurt its Black and African American voters. The current 9-member structure is in place because everyone agreed back in 1988 that it would be fair for all voters. And when I say everybody agreed, the Board of Commissioners agreed, the General Assembly agreed, and the voters agreed on that structure. And that is as true today as it was in 1988. But going back to an at-large 5-member structure was unfair. Everybody agreed on that as well in 1988. And that is also as true today as it was back then. From our experience, a deep experience working in counties throughout this state, I can tell you that unfair elections lead to bad results for everyone. They invite special interests to swoop in and to try to build and introduce hazards into the county. Recently, we're seeing in at-large elected counties, we're seeing data centers come in because nobody's there to represent the neighborhood where they want to build that. So it hurts everybody. But the districts that you have here and the limited voting you have for your at-large commissioners provide some protection against those hazards coming into the county. And I just want to urge you, tell other counties that if they're thinking about making changes because of the Supreme Court decision, or they think they can get away with silencing their Black and brown communities, then we are going to stand strong. We are going to do everything. And to advocate. This is a country that's supposed to be based on the consent of the governed, and that means everybody gets a voice. So I'm grateful.
Thank you.
It sounds like you're going to reject this attempt to change, and I'm grateful for that. And I thank you for the time to speak today.
And just 2 clarifications.
You said summer committee. Must not have heard him too well. He took the full blame. That was not, nobody.
Totally me.
Won.
Totally me.
I break you on that.
Totally me.
I heard,
But
and
you said something.
I apologize if there was I heard in the May 18th recording that some other commissioners did propose at large and did seem to be interested in this idea, but I understand that the clarification on the record, has been made.
Yeah, thank you. And just folks, absolute, again, and I know there are a lot of folks from the church communities and things like that. I have the privilege of pastoring one of the few multiracial churches in the county, and I'm thankful for that, and the people there know my heart. But 4 of us cost the county, with everything said and done through the year, close to $75,000. That was the only purpose. We're in, but you say, why the timing? The timing was purely, wholly, 100% budget. $75,000, and
again.
You can agree or not agree, you know, I stand before the Lord on it, but anyway, thank you. Next.
Deborah Maxwell. Commissioners and all present. I am the president of the North Carolina NAACP, and the young lady who you try to argue with has been before the United States Supreme Court fighting for our voting rights in this state of North Carolina. And as I stated, I'm part of an organization that has been 117 years old. And we're gonna go from Bladen to Buncombe to Burt, whenever we hear a whiff of possible voter suppression in these days and in these times. So if it was not meant to be said, it should not be said.
Amen.
So y'all should make, we will come wherever we hear the hint of potential
What group?
changing. I'm the president
No,
of
no, 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 you said if we're in with what group? I
the
didn't.
National Association of County Commissioners. Yes, sir. You have that group, right? You remember?
We are, I didn't.
Yeah, you had city vision a few weeks ago. Thank you. People come and they spoken. We want to keep the district as they are. We don't change what I'm saying because you changed what you said, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate every member, friend, and ally who came out tonight. But we are vigilant. We have gone through too much this year and the past year, and we will not take it anymore. We are not. We don't. We didn't get to be the oldest, boldest, coldest, most feared, and most revered civil rights organization for 117 years by sitting at home. Thank you. I appreciate everything y'all doing. Have a wonderful and blessed night. Thank you.
Hey, folks. Mr. Corey. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Good evening to the board. I'm going to shift the conversation a little bit.
Sure.
I want to talk about the $1.6 million flood fund, resilience fund. According to WECT News, it was awarded to Bladen County. My question is it only pertaining to downtown Bladen or does it extend to the rural areas? I've been living in North Carolina for the past 23 years. Paying taxes for the past 23 years. My taxes went up this year.
Not yet. Not yet.
My mortgage went up already because of the tax adjustment. So I had to adjust my finances at home. But my question is, does that money extend to those of us who don't live inside of the city area? Does it extend to the outside of the area? Because realistically, I have to be honest, I came before the board before, I am tired of my yard flooding. I am tired of having to spend money to repair my house, replace furniture. I pay taxes like everybody else, and I'm frustrated. And I want to know, again, does this money pertain to me and those of us who stay in my end, or is it just for the town?
Thank you. And I know Charles Ray's been so involved in that, so yes, sir.
So that is not a county project, that was a town of Bladensburg project. And that project's gonna start from the 701 at the schoolhouse and go through the cemetery there and take all the water from Back Street. The county, I represented a little bit because I live in Bladensburg, but the county had nothing to do with that, and that project money, that $1.6 million is going to the Bladensburg area.
So just the downtown area?
Yeah. South Bladensburg, where the school is, where it comes all the way from the Wyville Road back that way, and down Back Street, it's gonna take the water to the.
So would there ever be any money allotted to those who stay on my end of the county?
Yeah, we're working on more grants.
Because I've been hearing that for the past couple of years now. I don't mean to be, rude.
No.
But it's been like that for the past couple of years. 2016, my house flooded. 2018, my house flooded. And like I said, I'm tired of replacing furniture. I'm tired of having to repair my house. I pay my taxes like everybody else.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Thank you. Ma'am.
Mr. Edward Smith,
Smith, there you go. Sir, thank you for being here tonight, sir.
It's a pleasure to stand before you all. When I signed that sheet, I thought it was just a signing sheet. But, yes, God wanted me to get up.
There you go.
So what I'm saying is this right here. I think we should stay at 9 commissioners. And one of the reasons why I say that, we got a big area. Okay, I'm in District 3. And people in District 3, they say District 3 ain't up a White Lake. So that lets you know that the people on Tar Heel and White Oak, that area, we're not getting as much service. Okay, if you put it down to 1, if 2 or 3 can't get out there and represent the neighborhood, because we got a lot of stuff going on in that neighborhood. Houses being built, a vacant school that we tried to do something with, but everybody said, we don't have no money to help you. We wanted to pay for it ourselves, and they said, oh, you gotta pay so much money. But what I'm saying, I spent 22 years in the Army, and one thing I learned about a budget. When the Army give you a budget, you make it work. You don't tell, okay, I don't need the rifleman, I'm gonna let him go. If you didn't need him, why you had him in the beginning? That's right. Why you had him, you gotta get rid of him, why you had him, if you had too many cooks, you're the problem, not that you gotta revamp the situation. But I think y'all doing a good job, don't get me wrong, as best as you can. I don't put nobody down because I ain't in your shoes. But I spent 22 years in the Army, and I know how it is to be in charge of people. You can't satisfy everybody, and you're trying to do the best to save everybody's life. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, sir. Rhonda, help me, Rhonda.
I'm going to try.
Come on.
I may very well take a beat for what I'm about to say, but I'm prepared to take it because I believe that what I'm saying is going to be God's lead. I learned of a situation of where it was talked about y'all were going to reduce the board from 9 to 4. Reverend McGill, I found to be a pretty fair person in what I've asked him. I think the Bible says that we make mistakes, that we are human. And I think he stood up here as a man and admitted that he made a mistake. You said you've only been here for 24 years. I've been here for a little over 60. Say how much you If you look at some of the pictures downstairs in the meeting room where you met, the board was almost all white for many years. Like it or not, I've been around politics for most of my life, not because I was so much involved in politics, but my mother was involved in politics. If you want to read a little bit about it and get the history of it, Beasley Harris, Delilah Blank, J.C. Batchman, Junior Munn, there were several people involved in a lawsuit, and they looked at it and they studied it. And I do believe you were looking at the smaller picture, but I beg of you, please look at the bigger picture. We need representation, and everybody needs to be represented, regardless if you are the rich, the upper crust of a Tier 1 county. You ain't all that rich because you're in Bladen County. Rich, regardless of whether you're poor, regardless of whether you're black, regardless of whether you're white, regardless of what race and nationality is, you need to be represented. But Reverend McGill, I thank you for standing here, being a man, admitting that maybe I did not look at the bigger picture, being led by God to say, let's just drop this, it's working. Don't let one mistake makes you think that Brother Gill is not a good person.
All right.
Buddy,
Good evening to everyone.
down everybody.
I just want to say, I appreciate your attendance and your coming here and your comments. That's great. And what we'd like for you to do is to continue to come to the meetings so you can be really informed right then. You don't have to hear the words. So continue to come to our meetings. We meet regularly, and you know our schedules and everything. But we look forward to you being here. And I appreciate you being here tonight. Welcome to Bladen County Commissioners Meetings. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you for being here. All of us will say if we can help you, please let us know how. And trust for wisdom moving forward. All right. Yeah, that's it. 7, our audit presentation.
What about the commissioner's comments?
I'm sorry, we were in those, yeah. If you have any more, go ahead.
I got one.
Yes, sir.
I want to share something with this group, and it's a good opportunity to do this. So the commissioners have voted, and don't start booing before I get opportunity to. We really want to look at the quarter cent sales tax again and see if we can take that money. And we're going to, hopefully, the chairman will get a committee, and we'll sit there and we'll meet, decide what the money's going to go to. But wouldn't it be nice to have a multi-purpose building where it'd be big enough to have indoor athletics for your children? Or if you want to have a meeting place that it would hold all, everyone to be there. And you know, most of this quarter cent sales tax, believe it or not, is going to be provided to Bladen County over $600,000 for people to come here and visit and people to travel through this county. If you spend $20, it's going to cost you 5 cents. So please, just when we get ready to do this, just please, we're going to have public meetings or anywhere you want us to know we'll go. But please, really, really think hard about this for the future of Bladen County and the future of our youth in Bladen County and the things that we could do with this money that we can't do now. So that's my please, please consider.
Somebody asked where would you put it?
We don't know. It's my suggestion be a multi-purpose building out here at the recreation park. I'm not available. I don't know where it's gonna go. I want to set it, I'm telling you, idea of the course, sales tax, and potentially what it could be used for.
Hold on, man. Hold on just a second. All right, we're still in that public comment section. I know a young lady over here. Chris.
He was asking, he's trying to figure out what to do for these babies that literally in Nashville, babies is one.
Yep.
If y'all
We're it's on our agenda. Yes, ma'am, it's on our agenda. We're getting there.
Can I respond to something quick? Mr. Peterson made about the sales tax. When he says sales tax, I think we have a lot of citizens or people that come into the county, a lot of them go to White Lake, they come to the summer, they go to the park, different places. If they come to shop in Bladen County, that quarter cent sales tax, for those people, not just us, but mostly they will also be funding that quarter cent sales tax. My concern is, and which you may have as well, I think somebody asked where. I believe it has to be centrally located, because you can't put it on the east, you can't put it on the west. And if you move it to the north, then it's not fair to be a central location. And I talked to them about that. For me, I think the only place it could be centrally located, it needs a little town near the park, okay, that's it. But we still have issues when it comes to our children coming from the east, the west, and the north. They're still coming. And And I know I talked to guy at council the other night, because they need activities for their children. I know East Arcade's work on the park for their children, for those daily or weekend events for these children to participate. We need to have something for our children, because if not, we're going to lose them. But it's not, I don't want you to just say no yet. Let's look at it. Let the community take a look at it, and I agree, it should be centrally located. You have a comment about that? I'm sorry?
I do have a comment.
Okay.
My name is Ron Purdy. I am a representative of District 3, born and raised in District 3. And I have a concern. So, as being a proud product of Chickenfoot Road, growing up going to Plainview Primary School, what I understand is that when you look at the demographics in our county and you see how different establishments are placed, that area in Hollow Township in District 3, we are one of the only, if not the only area in our district that do not have anything to cater to our senior citizens, our children, and our community. Yet, Plainview has a for sale sign on it. And we're trying to figure out, why does Plainview have a for sale sign on it when we received a letter from Dr. Axton said at no cost will that school be transferred to the Plainview Alumni Association. My question is, growing up in that area, we had to come to Elizabethtown, Bladenburg, Clarkton, for anything dealing with recreation, anything dealing with sports. Only thing we had in our area was Boy Scouts and White Oak. Anything pertaining to any recreational needs, we had to travel from our end of the county, being closer to Robson County and Cumberland County, to drive all the way to Elizabethtown to partake in anything pertaining to this county. And I feel like it is only fair that we, the Plainview Alumni Association, get our school by our community. This is not a black thing, this is not a white thing, this is a community thing. And I feel like it's only right that if that letter was given to us, to our president, I am a board of directors on that board, it was given to us about that school coming to us at no cost, a transfer at no cost. And it was told to us that this was agreed upon by not only the Board of Education, but by the commissioners as well. So we want to know, why do we not have our school, and what can we do to get out?
All right, sir, if I'd like to ask you this, if I may. Ms. Price may be in this room right here, and Tommy McCoy. That same situation was Paul Brown. They wanted to pay for it. But I jumped on it a few years ago with 2 meetings. And they got that doing it for $1.
Can you jump on the board?
So what I'm at, what are they telling you, so I know how that we can help you?
I provided a letter to Dr. Montgomery today, and she can provide that letter to each and every one.
I got it today.
Yeah. I think we can help you with that situation.
Yes, sir. I will just be.
I'll give to him, he's over, go ahead, I'll wait on him.
Sure, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I came to the board, I wrote the letter to Scott. Y'all, what happened when the board said we don't want it? We gave it back to the Board of Education. I want to make sure everything's here. Y'all said that we couldn't do nothing, y'all couldn't do nothing with it. But what I'm listening to today is that we could have y'all could have did something with it, because y'all could have said, okay, those people up there have it, if they take care of it, and they take all the expenses for it, and take care of it. But I'm glad you said, but you said something.
Normally, that's approached us right at the beginning. Unless there's a need or request prior to us knowing, we really are not interested in the responsibility, the liability, and the insurance. But when there's a need, just like the Bladen Historical Building in Bladenburg, got it for $1. Baldwin Road, got it for $1 in Bladenburg.
I got $1 tonight, if you.
I know you do. What helps all of us, what helps everybody is when you got a community involvement, that'll get in and do the legwork and the help to get the building ready and this, that, and the other, then things like that. I mean, it's what we want, and we fighters for you to help you, and I don't see where that should be a big problem.
We'll follow back up with you. Sir, Mr. Peters.
Mr. Smith, when they offered it us, it was at a fair market value, and we didn't want to purchase the building. That's the reason we turned it back, because we didn't have the money to buy the building. It wasn't they gonna give it to us so we could give it to y'all. You have to buy it at a fair market price for us. So that's the reason we rejected it as commission.
So we might help it be worth $1.
Who wanted to do it?
Bladen County Schools now, since we reject.
The schools, Bladen County Schools.
But let us try to help you. Yes,
Thank you.
Anyone else? I'm sorry.
That's all right. The same thing is true for the school down at East Arcadia. East Arcadia School is that area is in much need of that school. I don't know about other areas, but the school for many years has been used as an emergency shelter, and that worries me, that we won't have an emergency shelter. It is a lot to get old people, disabled people from East Arcadia up to here if there's an emergency. The other thing that I want to address is one man's jump is another man's treasure. If y'all build a new rec center here, somewhere in Elizabethtown or around Elizabethtown, then some of the equipment that might be a little old to y'all, but would be good for us, can you please give it to East Arcadia? For not market value, not what it's worth, but give, that's G-I-V-E, give. Let's just know that y'all got a lot of stuff up here, and don't get me wrong, I have come, and I have gone to, I think his name is Gary Pace, that works with Parks and Rec. Grant, I'm sorry, Gary, that works with Parks and Rec, and he has given me little things, as he could give them, and he's a nice person to work with. But if y'all get a nice facility up here, don't forget about the outlying areas. Give us bleachers, give us that, give us balls, give us what you got.
I'm hearing something that I'm well aware of concerning the school. Folks, this is a large county. It takes some time to get from one end to the other. A center location is nice, but what are these other areas going to do? We need to do a feasibility study and find out how best we can serve these communities. Is there any possible way that we can get what the audience is talking about? It will serve everybody well, and use the one that's in the center for a meeting place for maybe some big event. But let every community have their own. And maybe some kind of way we can come up with some money. It's a sad thing, and I experienced this personally. I live in Elizabethtown. This is my home, born and reared here. But I can remember going to school with students that they would get up coming from Chickenfoot Road, went to school with them. I drove the bus all up in that area. Folks, do you realize what time these people had to get up? Okay. So, a central location is fine, or maybe say meeting. Well, we need to have satellites. That's the only way to solve this problem. Yeah, satellites. There's no other way. So, do your homework. You know, study this thing before you make any move. See what's best for everybody, every community. Doesn't matter color, race, or creed here now. We want to live in a county that's for everyone. For everyone.
When it comes to the school, I will ask that the passion that we have tonight, maybe we need to go to the school board as well. at the next meeting. Yes.
If I may, my name is Anthony Thomas, I'm with District One, with the Bladen County Board of Education. We also have Mr. Hartel Davis, and we have advocated, for plays, for the schools to be transferred over, and also Easter egg, we have the conversations. But we've gotten nowhere, and so we do need the support of everyone. I heard a lot of folks cheering before. We'll be sure that we get factual information. I'm not 100% sure. I do know that we advocated for the letter. I think that, there are some other nuances in that letter that we'll not discuss tonight, but we'll discuss that in a board meeting.
At the school board meeting.
Right, yeah, cool.
And that's what we need to be.
Right.
That's what we need.
And just please understand that some things, just because of the way the state says it has to be done, some things will be heard in closed session. And because they held it in closed session, we cannot discuss those things out of closed session. It is against the law. But we will make sure that everyone knows what's going on. Trust me, we are fighting for you. Trust that.
All right. So, everyone in this room, we appreciate you being here, we really do. It's exciting to know that we live in a community where people do care, they can come out and their voices be heard, their voices been heard. You are welcome. Stay through the duration of this meeting. But let me give you due warning. We're getting ready to go into a reading of an audit that watching paint dry is far more interesting. So you're welcome to stay, but we will give just a moment for anybody that wants to leave, and you don't have to feel like 5 minutes from now, why didn't you let us out?
This conference will now be recorded.
We appreciate you being here. We do need to cover, one more item there under matters of interest to commissioners. That is approving the Parkland School Discovery Beta Club request for travel assistance. This sort of stems from our last meeting. We talked about trying to help community groups that are going on trips with finances and things of that nature. Within just a few days, we got a formal request from the Beta Club from Clarkton. There are some children in the group that are underprivileged, we understand, and so I put some feelers out, and I know Mr. David had said he would be willing to put some of his ARPA money toward that, and so I'll open the floor for any of you that want to put money toward that.
I'll give 1,000 of what I got.
Okay. I don't know that we need all that much.
Don't need that much?
But we do. I think,
Okay.
I not only, I think,
Because with what
and I
he's
pushed for Clark, I actually used my own personal money to donate to
Yes, ma'am.
Clark. I did that because I started supporting.
Yes.
But I know we also have other
Yes, ma'am,
students that will
absolutely.
need the money. So for the next couple, well, maybe second Monday, they may come in.
Yes,
But once we
absolutely.
make this available, I think we should, if we get it, we'll get it forward.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So if that is the case, if you said,
I'll give,
how many schools we talking about? How many, do you know?
We have a list. Mr. Croom, I don't think I've got that list
Joe,
with me tonight.
how many schools?
We have 71 students
Total.
total, and it's 12 schools.
Okay,
Yes, sir, Mr. Peterson.
That public schools, you got private schools.
Absolutely.
And Christian schools, and I'm telling you, we have never considered this before, and I don't know that we need to do that because you're setting a precedent. And this offer money, you're talking about getting this year, it's gonna be gone, and next year it's gonna be sitting here, where you gonna get the money from?
Okay, so help me understand just, because honestly, Carver, I thought when they made this request, I thought it was a good follow-up, what you were saying of us helping folks in the
No,
county
we've
that are traveling.
never given money to Beta.
Well, we've never given money to people going to a ball game and things like that, that you mentioned, so I
Only for recreation.
yeah.
We have. We support our recreation teams traveling. But we do also support school teams traveling. That's just the way it's always been. I'm not saying you can't change it, but we never have done that before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wanna help these kids, like, you're opening up a door that we probably don't need to go in, we open up.
Could get wide
Okay.
very quickly. You look at 12 schools.
Well, right now, we do have ARPA money, and so that, I know you can't do that every year, but right now, you got this money that's sitting in an account. But it's up to the board. I brought it to you. I'd love to see us help the Beta group. I know some of the situations are pretty tough there. So if there's not a motion, we'll move on. Yeah. I get confused a lot of times of picking and choosing, but I'm still the new guy.
I will say though, if we're not getting the motion given, I mean, I encourage those who can or will willing to donate, as I did, as the rest of them.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna be setting a precedent, and everybody else will be coming in, wanting Commissioner McGill to donate at the same time.
Well, no, I think everyone does now. I mean, I do other schools. I do Bladenboro, I do, East Bladen. We did them for ROTC. We just do, you end up doing your own. That's fine. I give it away. Trust me.
I know.
And they went to the school board to ask for money, and the school board turned them back. School board didn't give them any.
Well, again, the person that approached me, the sponsor, the teacher, does a lot for the community. I felt like it was a goodwill effort that we could give something to go. I'll find the money for them other places. I told them I'd find the money, so I'm finding the money somewhere. Dr. Lee, of course, not here tonight, so we'll move to 7, audit presentation. The Honorable Brian Scott. Father Emily Spencer.
I'm famous for this too, anyway.
Of them, good kids.
Well, thank y'all for the opportunity to come before y'all and give this presentation. My sincere apologies for it being in June. The audit was late due to my oversight of getting staffing lined up, and when it came to our compliance audits. So it is definitely on me, and I apologize, but I know Lisa has been in giving y'all updates on the financial conditions, so I feel very confident in what she does. And I appreciate what Lisa does, and the staff at DSS, and the staff at the rec department, and EMS, and everybody that we go around and we go after. So thank y'all for your employees and staff for helping us do this audit. You do, I've understood you've kind of just gotten this because it was just approved last week. So I'm going to go through it quickly. Y'all know where I am. I can be found easily to get up with and go back through any of these details that you find tonight and find a week later or a month later. We'll just kind of turn into about page 3. Page 4, the required audit for communications. This is the same kind of show that I've given every year in the past. Just shows you what our responsibility is in doing an audit. The main purpose of this audit is to give an opinion on the financial statements, that they are materially correct in the financial statements. So we have done that. We have rendered an unmodified opinion, which means we did not have to modify the financials to make them within accounting principles and policies. You see the detail of what we go through. We obtain reasonable assurance. We can't do absolute assurance, and I would encourage you to get the audit opinion, all the details that we mentioned in that one. After the audit, we started back basically a year ago in the planning, when the engagement letter was signed, and we finished up in April. We got some information to finish up our findings in DSS. Flipping over significant accounting policies, in the bound copy of your audit, page 25 has got a lot of details that goes on with what makes up the numbers, how we arrive at the numbers. There was a change in accounting policy this year that dealt with compensated absences. It deals with mainly how we accrue sick leave. In the past, it's never been anything that we look at, put on the financial statements, but those above me and smarter than me figured it would be a good idea to do part of that. Year for a certain amount of sick leave for employees. We had no difficulties when we done the audit. We had no disagreements with your management as the course of our engagement went through. Flipping over, corrected and uncorrected misstatements. Each year we do give Lisa adjustments for her to review and approve. When she approves them, they are posted to y'all's general ledger, and that's what makes up the financial numbers to create the audit.
Which document are you in?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm in a little small one.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And right about 4 pages into it, required audit communications and communications of internal control matters. There were no outside consultations with other accounting firms. Findings, we're gonna get into that in a little bit of detail. Of course, the audit was late. That's the general statute finding. It's all on me, and I'll help Lisa get that moved over with the local federal commission. Flipping again to the schedule of the findings and question costs. This just shows you a summary of our audit. If we had any findings or any issues, we only had one significant deficiency. The audit was late. Again, that was my fault. Federal awards, significant deficiencies. There were some identified. We'll get to those in just a second. The other list, the federal programs that we did audit for compliance, Medicaid, and then Supplemental Nutrition and Assistance Program. Flipping over to the next page, you'll see the state awards. There were no issues of findings with state awards, and you can see the listing of the major programs that we reviewed for compliance of our compliance audit. The next few pages, the schedule of findings and question costs, that explains what our deficiencies were. Financial audit was not completed timely, again, my issue. The other issue we've had in the past is dealing with Medicaid and the process that the applications are gone through. You can certainly read through all the detail of that. Not a significant change over prior years. The other new finding we had this year dealt with the food stamp program. You can read through that criteria, what we did and the conditions and the question costs that arose in that. For both of these findings, there were no question costs, which means there is no requirement to pay any money back to the state or the federal government regarding those programs. The remaining pages talks about Medicaid Corrective Action Plan. DSS and your workers there did put together a corrective action plan. Very detailed, very thorough, spent some good time in coming up with this. You can read through those details. I'm glad to get with you any time to discuss these. Also is a corrective action plan that deals with food stamp program as well. Moving on through, there is, I apologize for the page numbers not being on there, but this is the page that I'm going to be referring to now. About midway in there.
Just if you go back one page, and you look about the findings of 2025, year one content, it talks about the Medicaid corrective action plan. It has any of those errors or issues that were found, did it cost the county any money or any fines?
No, ma'am, it's just there was the policy wasn't exactly followed, or there was a little break in that, but when it was further reviewed, no eligibility issues were found to have been reversed, which at that point in time, if it rises to a significant enough level, yes, we have to look at a potential of repaying back some Medicaid money, but there was none of that. None of the findings did result in a repayment.
Now, was there not plans in place a year ago, 2 years ago? We got the same findings.
Yes, ma'am, and and I'm not making light of it, and I'm not giving explanations or excuses, but Medicaid is extremely complicated. And staff rotates through that section quite a bit. And there may be a rule that says this, that rule, and that rule, so it's very complicated. Now, I'm not willing to speak because I don't do the Medicaid audit, but from what I understand, most counties, that is an issue, and again, it's not to be taken lightly, but Jill and her staff have worked hard to put up that corrective action plan and try and help people do it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all. Fine.
But again, moving on to what we call the financial indicators, and again, it's this blue line at the top. When we finish your audit, before we send it to the LGC, we have to input all the financial data, and then it spits out this report that says if there are any issues, and if you see anything in pink, that means we have to respond to them. That first thing that you see as a fail relates to the audit being late, so there is a response that we'll have to send to the state regarding why it was late. So they're pretty sure of why it was late. And then if you flip over to the next page, you see two more pieces of pink. Saying the same thing, but saying it in a different way. So Lisa and I will get with that, she'll present that to y'all. If each board member does, we'll need to sign that before it is submitted to the state for their review and approval. Flipping on through, we're gonna get now, as I mentioned, the auditor's report is this page right here. That again goes into detail about what we do in the process and what our responsibilities are and what the county's responsibilities are. I think it's important to read. I won't go through that tonight. I know you're all ready to get home. The next slide, we're gonna go pretty quickly, are the financial slides. You'll see the first one being cash analysis. That's the cash of the general funds, only the general fund. You can see it's right below $45 million, pretty steady as it was last year. The next slide will be cash of your business type fund, solid waste, water fund. It has dipped a little bit from 24, 25, $3.5 million. Flipping over again, you can see a revenue analysis, a 5-year comparison of the general funds. Ad valorem taxes have been ticking up each year. Other taxes stay the same, restricted. Grant money that changes from year to year based on grants that are received. Sales and services, pretty much the same. Investment earnings, hey, over the past 3 or 4 years, we've had some returns. That's been a plus. You can see expenditure analysis over the past 5 years in the next slide. General government goes up and down. Public safety is increasing each year, as well as human services. Education is kind of falling back a little bit in 25. Culture and recreation is down a little bit. Debt service is the same. Did end the year with a deficit of $477,000 in the general fund. That's the first deficit I've seen in a while. I know y'all are working hard on your budget for 26, 27. Flipping over, general fund revenues, again, it just shows the operating revenue, the operating expenses. The operating revenues have exceeded the expenses for the past 4 years. 25 was the first year, as I mentioned, was a deficit. Your fund balance is the next slide that shows it being pretty much the same as it was last year. Your restricted fund balance didn't change much either. Restricted fund balance deals with what you have revenue-wise that's unspent, and y'all have got legal or grant requirements on how it can be spent. The next slide will show your fund balance analysis. Compared to the state average, it has fallen over the past few years. Increase in expenditures go into that measurement, so it does show the decrease lining up with the state. State averages are based on your budget expenditures. Years ago, it used to be on population. Now they've kind of broadened the population to be on budget size, so it is, for me, it's not as helpful. The next slide will just show some pie charts of your revenue for the general funds for 2025. The next slide is 24. So 49% of your revenue comes from ad valorem taxes, 15% from sales and services, a little small 4% for investment earnings. Not a big change over 2024 when you look at the way your revenue comes in, how it is allocated. Same kind of analysis on the next 2 pages of expenditures. You have 33% public safety, 26% human services, 15% general government. So a slight change over last year. Flipping over, we're going to get now to the water funds. So it's a bar chart. You see tap fees have been consistent. Water sales, they're stepping up as rates go up in your service area a little bit. Solid waste, waste collection, you can see the teal colored bar jump up over 2024. As you know, y'all did a rate increase. So revenue did come in. That's always a plus. Analysis of your water and sewer revenues over expenditures. Revenue was higher than expenditures in the water fund. You did have a surplus of $86,000. For solid waste, you did have a surplus of $198,000 of revenues over expenditures. Close out, just to mention on your property tax collection rate, it did drop a little bit over last year. Speaking with Renee on that, there were several large amounts that did not come in by year end. And a few of those are in actual receivership, and it's really a touch point. Total total levy and dollars assessed is a little below 29 million, so a $3.6 billion valuation. Any questions on that quick run through?
Hearing none.
Thank you. Is there a second? Any other questions? Anybody like for Brian to read this? Seeing no hands up, let's vote on it. All in favor of accepting the 2024-25 audit presentation, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Appreciate you. Hey, Bladen County Water District, I'll entertain a motion, consider intercession as waived.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, Logan, for being here. Don, Chip, appreciate you so much.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having us tonight. We come before you with kind of a relatively new topic that came about since the last time we were here. 2 Fridays ago, you had one of your wells went down. It was your live oak well. Since then, we've been working close with all your staff. We've actually had a well driller on site looking and evaluating the situation. Just today, they were sharing a lot of information back with us and just making sure, number one, investigating what was going on, 2, giving us some options, going forward. So this is your live oak well. It's your only well on your east Bladen on the north end, right in that live oak, white oak full zone. It does have filters on site, so it's a very established facility. You have sand filters and gas carbon PFAS removed filters on that site now. So with the well being down, you're able to make adjustments to your other wells on that east Bladen zone, keep your customers serviced. So to my knowledge, there hasn't been any noticeable effects on customers, and you've been able to keep water. So with the well driller on site, what they've done is they pulled the well, videoed it, everything inside actually looks fine. Casing, screens, all that looks perfect, which is kind of unfortunate news. It'd be nice if we pulled it open and noticed there was a blockage or a significant issue. They did that. They also did some chemical treatment, some physical treatment, which is with basically a high power pressure washer down in there. What they're trying to do is get the well flowing again, like it needs to, or like it originally was. They just shared with us, like I said, shortly before this meeting, did another pump test on it. Pump test basically showing that the static water level in that area is lower than the original when it was originally built, meaning there's been a decline in surface water in that area. And then as they pump it, right, the pumping water level drops more than when it was originally built. So still a little early to make any final conclusions. What we're looking at doing now, the well drillers analyzing the data collected yesterday and today. It's looking like we'll be able to put it back online, just pump it at a lower rate. Is what they're hoping for. That's best case right now. Worst case scenarios, you may have to go look for another well site to permanently replace that one down the road. So hopefully you can get it back online, get it functional as it is, but that is something that we wanted to make you aware of, and just to update you, and we're learning this information, your staff, and we're helping y'all just evaluate it and look at all options. That's on your, like I said, the live oak, white oak system.
May I have any questions for Logan? Yes, sir. Chris?
I had a couple of complaints, actually this past week in the Hickory Road Ballpark Road area.
Okay.
And there was some of them, I got pictures, they had the pictures on Facebook, and it didn't look good.
Were the complaints pressure or water quality?
Water color.
We had contractors in that area that pulled water out of the fire, and we didn't know.
Any kind of fine or any kind of?
What's the ruling on an individual doing something like, or a company doing something like that?
That's right.
We have to actually catch them in the act, or we can actually do anything.
What can you do with them, catch them in that?
We can actually,
we're still.
They can actually be charged with a misdemeanor. Yeah, definitely.
How do you know if we're contracting? You don't know what it is.
Just by people that said they've seen them,
Gotcha.
but if we don't actually catch them, we can't go by hearsay.
Mr. Chairman, should we, alert that company, that their name has been given as a, alert them to kind of give them some.
And do they know who it was?
They just tell us it's a white truck with a tank behind it.
Didn't tell you the name? Okay.
That's hearsay with a lawsuit.
Yeah. Come get. All right. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Plumbing that well that you're talking about there at Live Oak, is that, I mean, just, like country boy math, is that because, I know you mentioned, water table being lower than what was previously expected there? Well, I mean, the bottom line, the water access there is becoming more of an issue. I mean, in layman's terms, in other words, because people have talked about it for years and years and years between White Oak back to Live Oak, that ever since this, ever since that, which, if you're in the woods, you see it for a long time, but, is that because everything is dropping literally in terms of supply?
I would say we don't have enough real information to draw like hard conclusions on that. Just from the little bit of data we do have, then it does show that there is less water there than when it was originally built.
Right.
I mean, from a static and just from just what comes into the well, a pumping water level standpoint. What the plan is they're gonna monitor it a little frequently now. Actually, the well drill is gonna try to put a device in there. They don't have a lot of room to work with, so try to put a device in there that'll allow them to monitor it. That way, if we can get it back online, then we can check the water level, see how it draws down and how it recharges, and then have that information to be more informed.
How old is that well?
It was originally installed in '92, right around that time frame. We're gonna be looking at options to talking, but we just, like I said, wanted to update you tonight on the situation and keeping you on the course.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Got an old water system, got a lot of daggone problems. And we better be deciding how we're gonna address these problems going forward and get some of this water flowing and clear water instead of continue to Band-Aid or whatever we're trying to do. I mean, we need looking for money. I mean, we just can't keep sitting back, just listening and not doing anything.
And it's so strange, because when we talk with the legislators and the lobbyists, they act like, oh, no, they don't want to give you any money for that, they want to give you money for other things. To me, if you don't have water, you really don't have anything in the community, and so.
I think we're gonna do this in a whole.
Oh, I know, we've already there.
One day without it.
Yeah, and I know, and there's nothing that we can do, because not everybody's a county resident on county water, but as far as a referendum or whatever, it's just.
Yeah, if there's one conclusion to draw from what we talked about last meeting and this meeting, it's, a continued effort to seek and ensure long-term water supply. And good quality water is what you need to keep thinking. We talked about last meeting, Aaron Jones on the east side, you're here now, how you're having some trouble on the west side, now you're having some trouble on the east side, so just continue to focus on that.
Sure.
Can we get an update where we are legally with Comores or what they're going to, I mean, can Saucy come back down here or something? Also,
He said they started to say no.
Well, they have said no a couple times too. How would you like us to pursue that? You want an in-person meeting? You want to make a formal request?
Yeah, I mean, whatever we need to do, we need to get back on their radar.
What the lawsuit is and what's happening there. I mean, maybe we have to make a decision we don't really want to make.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've heard it. Well, and we talked about, how long, whatever sum of money that we would get, how long that would last us, but it might be that we have to get it and deal with it right now, and.
That will be one thing we'll address close session.
Okay, good enough.
Well, they've had zero interest in Live Oak. Zero.
I know, it's like they've done all
Yeah,
that.
it's there.
Everything,
Yep. So updates, hydrants, water conditioning taps, anything else on any of those other highway and hydrants? How many more we still got to replace?
We just got 6 new ones in,
Okay,
they're working steady to try to get them.
all right, taps,
And we got, there's 3 on the list, but they just come in the last.
okay, cool.
Mr. Chairman, can we get this in a spreadsheet so we can kind of monitor it versus, because I don't know what we talked about last month. The other thing I wanted to ask, how much does it cost us to put in a water hydrant?
That last time, 'cause
How much does it cost us?
How much it costs your crew to put in a water hydrant?
The cost of the hydrant is about $3,500, and it takes them about 2 hours to put it.
so their labor is fairly minimal compared to, it takes them 2 hours, it probably wouldn't be worth contracting to somebody.
I thought it was 4 last time. How many hydrants are down? Oh, it's 4 last time. Two?
I think it was 2.
We
That's what
had,
I'm saying, is to get a spreadsheet.
yeah, we had, well, and it changes, we had one that was hit the other day, you know, so, yeah.
We have it on OneDrive that we've been sharing, so we can
Yeah.
link you to it.
Yeah, if you want to do that, link so I, instead of just Mr. Sam and myself getting those emails, we'll get everybody in on it, it's fine, certainly. Okay, thank you. All right, any, motion to come out of water board?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those like sign. Thank you, Logan, for, have you been here the whole time?
Yeah.
Bless you. TJ?
appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Good to see young people. Advisory board appointments, Bart, 1. Still working on.
Second.
Table, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Vision on Aging, 1.
Dan Allen.
Okay, Mr. Dan Allen, is there a second? Any discussion? Others, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Health and Human Services Advisory Committee, 1. Table, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Kelly Fire Service District. Reappoint, second. All right, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Local Emergency Planning Committee, 1. Okay.
Second.
Motion to table, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hopefully, they're getting close to a new, editor. Planning Board, 1.
Shane's off.
Okay, thank you. Shane Todd, and a second on that. Any other?
Second.
I've already got a second. I'm just any others. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Rec Board. There are 4. Appoint and a second already. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. They've still not given me a, thank yous.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like sign, we got through that, didn't we? All right. Mr. Sam, normally I'd tell you, take all the time in the world, but tonight, hurry up. I'm just kidding. Take all. Please, yes, sir. It's hard to hear in here. It's hard to see in here, too.
What do you do with a table?
Arc in this room.
Well, good evening. Glad to be with y'all. To start the next meeting will be, on the calendar, will be June 6th. That'll be, Field Division at White Lake, Friends event. And, actually, we received an email this afternoon that actually be moving that house there tomorrow.
And it is a drop-in type thing. They're not expecting to go stay the whole time if you're in that area.
And then on June 8th, at 5 p.m., be the Health and Human Service Advisory Committee meeting at the Bladen County Health Department, there at the conference room. On June 11th, be the Bladen County Firefighters Association meeting that would occur at 6 p.m. at Bladen Borough Fire Department. On June 15th, we'll be back, we'll be at the lower level of the Bladen County Courthouse for the Board of Commissioners meeting. On June 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st will be the Juneteenth celebration days at 361 Lewis Drive, Elizabethtown. On June the 19th, from 11 to 1, be the Juneteenth Community Day, Jones Lake State Park. June 20th at 9 a.m. be the Juneteenth Parade. That will be on Broad Street here in Elizabethtown. And then on June 25th, from 10 to 12 will be the American 250th anniversary event, be story time involving the Charter of Freedom setting here at the courthouse lawn. On June 26th, from 9 to 1, will be the Bladen County Sheriff's Office blood drive, and that'll be located at Sheriff's, 299 Smith Circle, Elizabethtown. I guess that would be at the Sheriff's Office. Going into July 3rd, the county office buildings will be closed in observance of the Independence Day, 4th of July. On July 6th, be a prayer service at 8 a.m. at the Commissioner's room at the lower level of the courthouse. On July 13th, at 5 p.m. will be the Health and Human Services Advisory Committee meeting at the conference room there at Health Department. On July 14th, at 6 p.m. will be the Animal Control Animal Control Board meeting at the Bladen County Health Department conference room. And then on July 20th, at 6:30 will be the Bladen County Board of Commissioners meeting at the lower level of the courthouse. Mr. Chairman, that's your calendar.
We've got one meeting in July.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. And then on some follow-up items, I talked to Star Communication about the internet service that they're providing. They said that the White Oak area has fiber throughout the area. Willie Road and Kinley Store Road also has fiber in their territories. They're actually looking at expanding their projects as more money becomes available on Willie Road and Kinley's Store Road. Ashmore Lane appears to be in the Spectrum area, and as I did some checking there, it looks like Spectrum does not service that road or that lane.
Mr. Chairman, if, I think if Spectrum don't service it, Star, somebody else might come in here and pick up on.
Star told me they did not service it. I can contact. It looks like there's maybe like 3 homes.
Yeah, ATC was the other company. They were gonna look at it if they got the entire contract. But I guess can you go back to Kingsville Road and Willie Road? What's the answer again?
Star Communications said everything that was in their territory has been complete, but as they get more money, and I know that Governor Stein has I guess, asked for additional money, which I think is already there, but he's asking for money to be made available. I think it's going to serve about 97,000 more citizens in North Carolina. And so hopefully part of that money will come to that area. And Star has identified it, so hopefully they will get it.
I think since Spectrum does have that area, can we not go to them and see if they will pick up actual, I know from 3 houses, but I think it's on Highway 87 East. I think Kathy at the corner, East Arcade, she didn't have service. And there's a Star box about 400 yards, and they did add her. So they do these other things.
Definitely contact Spectrum for them. Thank you. For them citizens. The next item is the working group for the county, Bladen County Schools, Bladen Community College. We've met twice already. We're looking to put together another meeting as schedules align. So hopefully here within the next maybe 2 to 3 weeks, we'll have another meeting where we can discuss trades and maybe some other items that can possibly save us money by not duplicating efforts. See how that conversation goes. Property tax update. The House did pass. House and Senate passed and put a referendum on the November ballot to place limitations on the
property tax, that probably would look at some kind of cap on the property tax. But these limits and caps and freezes, that would be determined after the referendum is either passed or fails. Of course, that being said, the County Commissioners Association, different groups are still talking to the legislature to share the concerns on what the caps could do as far as the services that we provide to our citizens. And then another project that I heard the board talk about last meeting was possibly paving the transfer station. With voice lesson, I'd like to start looking into that. If you direct me to that, then we can start looking at how can we fund that paving project, what a project would look like, and if there's any kind of funds out there that, as far as grants or other funds that we can apply for. I want the board's direction.
I can make a motion that we try to seek funds.
Motion would be to strategize the plan and seek the funds for it. Is that okay?
And that's my last update.
All right. Oh, good. I feel better now. So, motion second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Sam. Listen, again, great job. Thank you. You're the man for the hour. And Ms. Lisa and Ms. Maria, just so grateful for y'all on making our job a lot easier. All right. Individuals and delegations. How about the commissioners? You guys got anything? Yeah. I'd just say this, we've been through a lot tonight. I apologize if I put y'all in a precarious position. I would ask you this, I'll choose my words carefully, maybe I should have all the time. I don't know how this reached the level that it did. But if there's anything you all have done to help it reach that level, it's all right, I can deal with that. But if there's anything you can do to calm it down, the emails I'm getting, my wife's getting phone calls on our church phone, things of that nature, it's ridiculous. So calm folks down. If people reach out to you and say, what do you make of what Cameron said tonight, tell them it's the truth. Because it was. But just anything you can do to stop this firestorm. We righted a wrong that before it happened. It's all we can do at this point. Can't go back. If y'all figure out a way to go back and unsay or undo things, you're better off better than I am. So, but it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails, and they're basically the same email. Some are a little more colorful than others, but probably not the best choice of words. But anyway, some a little more vicious than others. Yes, sir.
I would ask if the board, with the board's permission, we start looking at a committee to start looking at this course of sales tax.
All right. With the same intent, tonight, with a lot of excitement in the room as far as location, that sort of thing. All right.
Mr. Chairman, on that note, Mr. David said, I would definitely encourage those of the fireworks, like we talked at the last meeting. I think Dr. Montgomery and Mr. Bullock will play a great part on the ballot as we know it. I would encourage the committee to include the two of them if they would be on that board, so that there's clarity, Mr. Bullock, if there's any questions, that y'all can answer. That means a lot to me.
Think a specific population that we may have, but at the last time, it wasn't just, even though, I think it was the last time we did for it, but it's another population, yeah. I was hoping that we focus on specific, right, it will be different.
And I think last time though, it was left neutral. It wasn't the moment to be against it or not for it. I think if you're satisfied for it, would be the best.
I think it would be great too, if we could set up some kind of community event where we go to each community and talk about the popularity of this tax, how it will help everyone. Because if we don't really get out there and really push it, it'd be difficult to get it through.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson. Is there anything in the statutes or anything that we have to be careful of what we do to propose a certain agenda?
Great question.
Because I understood the last time commissioners could be limited in what they can do in the situation with the court of itself.
I've 10 years been your attorney, and I know this is the third, fourth time I think this is before the board.
I just want to make sure we don't get in trouble.
Get back to specifically on this.
Push that.
Rendering that, I don't know who put together, maybe Charles Randy or somebody did, the rendering of the center, the picture that we see as far as, I think if you have a concrete idea and that's presented when you have these local, I think people are gonna be all for it. But I think if it's like, well, we're gonna use this for this and this, and it's hypothetical, I think, yeah. So I think the rendering that y'all provided tonight, or in a picture, yeah, there's a picture of like a hypothetical, center, you know.
But what we heard in this room tonight, did you all agree that if there's not a specific location determined for it, that it may be harder to get support for it?
What I heard, this one was very positive.
That it was a good central.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, but that was the question they kept asking was, where is it gonna be?
Right. And I think,
Because, I mean, Charles, you know as well as I do, if they think it's your idea, they think it's gonna be in Bladen, or if it's my idea, it's gonna be at White Lake, it's not idea, it's gonna be East Arcadia. So if you are able to establish where it's gonna be, it probably answers a lot of questions.
Right.
well, maybe that's what the committee can come up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I tell you, in a lot of counties, you know, by being in business, anytime I see something in North Carolina or the United States Treasury, I'm like, let me go to this thing right quick, see what I've done. But it's another county adding a quarter or half or 3%, and every business in North Carolina that it gets known, if it's Raleigh, Charlotte, when you get that information, and it happens every month, somebody is adding some quarter or half %. So it's permissible, but like I said, the way it's handled.
So we will work on putting that committee together with the,
And I'll stay with,
yes, please do.
Make sure that we're legal and everything.
Yeah, all right. Anything else on the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion that we go into closed session. And, I'm sorry? Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Give me just a second.
With a 10-minute break.
Yes, sir, well, 5-minute break, yeah. Closed session in accordance with NCGS 143-318.11.
So moved.
Second.